but he uses it entirely offensively and leaves the defense to Orhan every single time. He rushes at the dragon once again and enhances the sharpness of his sword before slashing the dragon once again. This time he succeeds and manages to land a devastating blow at the dragon's neck, slicing through his thick armor and damaging the body beneath all the scales. The dragon falls over with a thud, while Logan and Sophia celebrate, thinking that the dark beast is defeated for good. Selma knows better than to think that and realizes that the dragon is probably just hurt a little, but Orhan seems to be at his limits as he stumbles on the ground, trying to regain his balance and push on his attack to not give the dragon any chance to recover. She wants to join in and help Orhan, but she knows that the strongest members of their clan together weren't able to land a single hit on the dragon, so what the hell will she be able to do? The dragon sits back up once again and uses his fiery breath to create some distance between him and Orhan before it channels a bunch of dark magic around it, and shoots a barrage of magical spears at Orhan, who tries to use his speed to avoid most of them. Orhan thinks about the days when everything was colorful and happy, when he used to play in the streets with Oliver without a care in the world. But one day all that changed, when some bandits attacked their village and destroyed everything and everyone they held dear to them. They were left helpless and could do nothing but cry at their situation while the world around them burnt. The next morning they buried every single person they could find, and both of them vowed to get stronger every single day and reach a point where they could protect the people and the things they held dear, so nothing and no one could steal from them ever again. Orhan uses his memories to fuel him as he walks out of the dust straight towards the dragon, refusing to yield in the face of certain death. The dragon starts charging its strongest attack, which has killed so many adventurers till now that it's considered as death itself in person. Orhan gets ready, and as the dragon shoots the magical spears at him, he bobs and weaves in between them as the spear misses them by mere inches, but he continues rushing and shoots a fireball magic as a distraction before trying to slash the dragon's head off. To his horror, the sword strike fails as the dragon's scales harden like an indestructible shield. He quickly backs off and dodges most of the magic spears before creating a wall in front of him to protect himself. The dragon changes its pattern and curves one of the spears to attack from behind, and it would have probably killed anyone else, but Orhan uses his godlike reflexes to reflect the spear away from himself, saving his life. He pushes on the attack, dodging and attacking the dragon, making sure not to give the dragon any space to attack the rookies. He thinks about how he earlier had a team to fight with him, and all of them had separate roles, but now he is the only one here. He pushes the thoughts away as he remembers that he vowed to defeat the dragon all on his own and become an adventurer who doesn't need any party to survive in any dungeon. With that, he sets up a trap card which continues to bombard the dragon with unyielding precision, giving him the time to charge his magical convergence attack into his sword just like Oliver's ultimate attack, with the difference that his blade is all black. But as we all know, once you go black you don't go back. He charges the attack and aims it at the dragon with all his strength, slashing through the dragon's attack and hitting it squarely in the chest. Before they can celebrate, though, the dragon rises again and goes on the offensive, forcing Orhan to run away and dodge attacks one after the other. His buffs start wearing off, so he uses whatever mana he had left to boost his stats once again and attacks the dragon with a mighty strike which knocks it out of the sky. But still the dragon survives and gets up once again. Orhan breathes hard as he realizes both the dragon and himself are on their last legs. Even his sword shatters into little pieces. He then decides that he is either going to end it with an all-out attack or die trying. He summons a dark hole in front of him and converges all the energy around them to create a highly focused energy sword, which he grabs with both hands and gets ready to fight. The dragon immediately shoots the magic spears at Orhan, but Orhan uses the last remaining strength he had to dodge through all the attacks, while using blocking and reflecting magic to confuse the dragon. Finally, he pushes himself off one of the reflection magic and blasts himself towards the dragon, using his most powerful attack to strike the dragon's head, creating a huge explosion, covering everything in dust. Once the dust settles, Selma finds Orhan still alive, breathing hard as he leans against the sword, not realizing that he just made history by being the first person ever to defeat the Black Dragon, that too on his own. Outside the dungeon cave, a huge crowd has gathered at the news of the Black Dragon. But somehow Luna and her party members reach the dungeon entrance hoping that they make it in time and somehow manage to save as many people as possible. Luna tells the onlookers to stand back as a black dragon is on the loose. But by the time she pushes through them, she stops in her tracks at the sight of the black dragon, face to face with her. Oliver follows her and gets scared to the point where he draws out a sword ready for a fight. but Luna tells him to calm down and back off. She realizes that something is wrong with the monster, and by the time the others arrive, it is clear that the black dragon is already dead. The hero's party is shocked at this, as they can't even start to think about which party can be strong enough to defeat this beast. But they don't really have to think for long though, as Luna notices Orhan, barely managing to stay upright, putting all his load on his sword, and looking completely beat up. She wonders whether Orhan alongside the other adventurers stuck inside managed to defeat the beast. She immediately tells him that he needs healing, but Orhan tells her to back off and simply deal with the cleanup. Luna is left speechless as she doesn't know what she can say to the person that they kicked out of the party which would make it better. Her attention then goes towards the adventurers with whom Orhan entered the cave, and she notices that none of them even have a scratch on their body after fighting such an insane monster. But that's when it clicks to her. Orhan defeated the black dragon all on his own. She can't believe her thoughts, but there is no other explanation. While walking past his former teammates, the idiot tank asks Orhan what the hell happened to the dragon. But Orhan ignores him just like your crush ignores you and continues walking. The imbecile tank screams at Orhan to answer the question, but Luna tells him to shut his dumb ass up, as it is clear that Orhan is the one who defeated the dragon. The tank gets mad at her, and like an average incel Tate fan he runs at her. But she simply uses her magic to freeze him on the spot, and would have whooped his ass if not for Oliver who told them to break off their fight, while he angrily looked at Orhan, mad that he got outshone by him. That night, Sophia remembered everything that happened during their 3-day expedition for a report, but all she could write about was Orhan and how cool he was. She remembered how he not only taught her the basics of magic, how to be a better team player, but also saved her life by dealing with the legendary black dragon, that too on his own. Before she could finish her report though, Selma enters the room looking haggard from the exhaustion of dealing with everything since the morning. She straight up goes and slams on the bed, ready to sleep. But Sophia manages to take her to the bathhouse for a refreshing session where Selma asks Sophia what she thought about Orhan's fighting style because she can't understand it. To her, Orhan is inconceivably strong with bottomless pits of strength that she can never even compare to. But Sophia's viewpoint was different in this regard. She explains that to her, it felt like Orhan simply has such a strong grasp on the basics that he is able to do legendary things just by utilizing his body and skills in the most efficient manner. She explains how Orhan taught their group how to best fight as their role, and she noticed the exact same things being implemented in his own fighting style as well, with the difference that Orhan was literally acting like the mage, the healer, the tank, and the swordsman all on his own. This gives Selma some much needed insight, and she thanks Sophia for the help. The next morning, Orhan wakes up in pain as his entire body is aching like crazy. He uses his pain relief spell on himself to be able to walk at least and starts dressing up when he notices Selma coming to see him. He goes down to meet her in the diner where they sit and talk over some black coffee. She asks Orhan about how he is feeling now, and he replies that he is doing well, not mentioning the fact that he is taking a shit ton of painkillers to even do the most basic of things. Suddenly Selma gets up and bows down deep, thanking Orhan for saving her life and the lives of all the rookies, making sure that the expedition was successful and that there was no casualties. Orhan tells her not to worry about it as it was a team effort. Selma then asks him whether he can accompany her to the guild house as the leader of their guild wanted to have a conversation with him. Orhan agrees since he doesn't have anything better to do anyways. They both go to the guild house where they find the nerdy leader seated comfortably on the sofa. He cuts straight to the chase and asks Orhan whether he would want to join the Night Sky Silver Rabbits as the first line attacker in their most powerful party. Moreover, he also offers to make him a lieutenant of the clan so he can better guide and handle day-to-day operations as well. Orhan is shocked as being a lieutenant means a lot and is usually reserved for the oldest, and usually the founding members of a clan. Anyone would have jumped at this opportunity, but Orhan is not everyone. So he asks the nerd for some time to mull over the decision, which the nerd happily grants him. While walking back, Orhan revisits the entire conversation, as he still can't believe that one of the best clans in the world want them to lead their best party, and also be one of the leaders of the clan. He decides to have a chat with the old guy who makes his armor and asks him for his input. Orhan is still scared that he will be used and discarded just like his old teammates did. But the old man simply laughs and tells him not to be so emo all the time. They talk some more, but then Orhan gets a call for a meeting from the Adventurers Guild, so he heads over and finds the guild members already seated for an inquiry committee. He takes his seat when the guildmaster asks Orhan whether it's true that the black dragon appeared on the 50th floor where he was forced to fight with it alone. Orhan nods in agreement, but Derek opens his giant hole and claims that they already weakened it. causing the dragon to run, and Orhan merely managed to land the killing blow and claimed the kill. Anne also speaks in between, claiming that he should be thankful that they saved his life and made him famous overnight. Orhan simply looks at them and tells them to shut their idiotic mouths, which causes Derek to stand up angrily. But that's all he can do, as Luna tells him to sit his ass down immediately. Orhan then goes on the offensive and turns towards Oliver, asking why the hell did he go to floor 92 directly after hiring a new enchanter for their party. He asks whether Oliver got too cocky and confident just because they have been to that floor multiple times. Orhan continues that he warned multiple times that they are not strong enough, as they always barely clear that level, and that's why he wanted to grind some more before moving on to the higher floor. He claims that there were also moments when they almost lost one of their teammates, which should have taught anyone with a brain that their luck will run out one day or the other. Oliver simply looks smug and answers that they were weak because him, which is why they barely cleared the room. That's why they hired a new enchanter. He claims with an enchanter with better skills, he assumed that they can go deeper. Orhan claims that he is not even mad at being fired at this point. What pisses him off is the fact that Oliver doesn't give the enchanters the respect that they truly deserve. Oliver claims that being an enchanter is super easy, as they have to sit behind safely and simply make sure that the buffs don't run out on their teammates. Angrily, Orhan stands up and tells them all the exact timings when their buffs run out. He claims that each and every person has a different buff timer, and the enchanter has to remember each and every one of them to be able to cast them on time, while also giving out commands and analyzing the battle. While this is all happening, Selma is sitting outside in the garden thinking about everything that happened during the expedition. She would love to have someone like Orhan in her party, but wonders whether Orhan would even want teammates after what has happened to him with his previous party. Moreover that, he doesn't even need teammates at this point, as he is a one-man army who can deal with everything. She remembers the point when during the